Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Last Minute Kickout, and as always, I am Pete Titans Creed Nethercoat, joined by my cohorts, this manly stable of beards. Of one, Mr. John Turbo Finley. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
And one, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva. How are you doing, sir?
The champ is here.
The champ is indeed here. The winner, if you missed our pre-show video of the Last Minute Kickout Wrestlemania predictions, there is a shiny belt that John's put away.
After a tiebreaker, there was a tiebreaker we had to do.
A very quick point, yes. But let's start with the card. We're gonna quick talk of this. This isn't gonna be a big bundle of paperwork and spots and everything else. We're going to be talking our thoughts, basically, because it's 7 hours of WrestleMania. We're pretty much doing this on the Monday before Raw, so we don't know what's happened on Raw when this has been recorded.
No idea.
So there will probably be a lot on Raw and SmackDown to happen. I'm fully expecting, as predicted, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to be on the Superstar Shake-Up, lol, on Raw. Let's start with the first match, the triple threat match for the Raw Intercontinental title, The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. This went pretty much as predicted, with Mr. Seth Rollins winning the belt for obvious reasons. Grand Slam. Those two words just can't seem to escape anybody. You can't give Dean Ambrose a Grand Slam without fucking over half of your roster, and then everybody else wanted it. It turns out.
I'm quite surprised that all three of us hadn't become Grand Slam champions for WWE in the last 15 hours, frankly, because it's like everybody apparently is now going to be a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But Rollins came out with his contact lenses in. What was up with that?
I don't know why someone who shouts "Burn it down" was dressed like a White Walker from Game of Thrones. Be a White Walker and chant the one thing that kills a White Walker. Good job, Seth Rollins. Otherwise, it was a very good match. The curb stomp returned twice. I was really hoping for the sky-high curb stomp that happened a couple of years previous.
It's not the curb stomp, it is the blackout.
It's a curb stomp?
It is the blackout.
It's a curb stomp.
It's a blackout.
I don't care.
This is why WWE books the way it does. Because you don't care.
Yeah, John. You're the smarkiest one of all, and you don't care.
Why? Because blue contacts, that's why.
Yes, blue contacts. Otherwise, good match, I thought. Very good match. I'll leave it to you guys to talk stuff.
Oh, over to John.
All right, fine. Notably, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor were actually on top form. Some of the most notable spots, there was a double blockbuster by Seth Rollins again. He's busted out that move a couple of times. The triple spots were fine. What was it? I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, what was it? I forgot the move that was before the Falcon's Arrow or suplex, trying to go into the Falcon's Arrow beforehand but that was very nice. Overall it was really good. Although, what was it? Just to deviate from the match there, it's like I just want to point out this little thing just at the start of the main card, starting up. Coachman's line of saying, "I've got there's only one word to describe WrestleMania. It's alive." That's 2 words, Cole. You idiot.
Do you mean coach?
Or coach, even, yeah, sorry.
You
it's
idiot.
like
They're interchangeable at this point, I think.
Yeah. But kudos to someone I will give credit to on that notification there of Celtic Rules. They'll know who they are, so thank you very much for pointing that out. Very handy. What? But no, back to the match. No.
What? No. You explain this, please. What are you going on about?
I think.
Yes, you do. Because I'm very bemused right now, and I want an explanation.
I just had someone.
If you're going to bring it up in the podcast, and we don't know what the F you're talking about, you can then explain the point so that the rest of us are involved.
I had someone here.
Yes.
Who had also someone else here.
Right.
Who is very, very young.
Okay.
Who doesn't want to be known by name.
That's
who
fair
has
enough.
a username. And
You've got friends.
She had pointed out that little thing. And I said, great point out. I'll make sure to mention it.
You said Celtic Rules.
Yes, that's the name.
Of what?
That's their handle.
Oh,
idiots!
I thought you were talking about Celtic Rules, and I'm
well
like,
done.
What the hell are you going about?
You coachman.
Yeah, I'm the Michael Cole of this situation. I pay little attention to the rest of the
Oh dear.
All right, look, I'm literally just here to keep us on track. Therefore, I segue into another point while we're talking.
Anyway,
dear.
Kevin, do you have anything notable off the match?
No. I mean, it was smooth. I think for the most part, it did what they could do in the time with what they were doing. I don't think it makes much sense really that any of them are in the position that they are with that belt. Miz had to lose it because Miz is obviously going away for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Good, he deserves a rest. Doing all the stuff. All of them in media seem to be... All the media stuff in the back between Access and Wrestlemania Performance seem to involve the Miz. So, let him go. Let him enjoy his lovely... Just being in the presence of his lovely daughter. And being a dad. And he's over the moon. And so is Maurice. And they're very happy. So, fine. Sucks he hasn't got the record.
I mean, hopefully he'll... this is me as a semi-Miz fanboy saying I want him to go for the heavyweight title. You know? I think he deserves his time at the top properly. I think he's done his licks. And, he's definitely learned since the last time he's been there.
Yes.
And I think he could pull it off a lot better now. Especially not having to live in Cena's shadow.
Who knows? Maybe he'll take the title off Brock tonight in an outrageous...
Hey! He did it. He did it to what was it?
Zach.
Zack Ryder.
He was Zack Ryder.
2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 years ago. 1 year ago. It seems it's difficult to...
I can't remember.
Understand. It's time. Time goes with. But I mean, the fact that they've got a way for him off. I've got a storyline waiting for him basically when he returns.
Oh yeah.
With this because that's now his goal now to become numerically the greatest of all time in terms of the Intercontinental title. I don't think the Miz character at this point would actually forsake the Intercontinental title, so that's an interesting thing. What happens if he wins the big one, and then it's like the big one's preventing him from becoming the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time? We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But other than that, did the job. Rollins is now champion. Rollins won't do anything for the belt at all. And he won't. No. But there'll be some good battles on house shows for the next 2 months between Rollins and Balor. So at least there's that.
Yeah. Also, good that Rollins still doesn't forget his old school roots by celebrating only, Tyler Black would.
Again, lovely comments online about I wish they'd somehow, because they were doing all this augmented reality stuff throughout the event, which was awful, frankly. It looked really bad, and didn't do the technology any favors whatsoever. But it was there were some comments that were like, it's a pity they didn't use that to make Rollins look like he took off, actually helicoptered himself out of the arena. We'll see what happens to the Intercontinental title from here, but I think one of Miz's role is like Jericho's role now, in that they take the title away from him, give it to somebody else, it slowly fades in importance again, and then they give it back to him to like rescue the title. Maybe he can feud with Rey Mysterio when he comes back again. That'd be good.
Right, next match.
A hard on for Rey Mysterio, haven't you?
Who? Me?
You, yes.
No, but I was more referring to the fact that, hey, when Jericho had to do his last rescuing act of the IC title, it was the Jericho Mysterio program. So it would actually work very well in continuing with that, and it would actually be the perfect place to put Rey in. I think Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Moving on. The Charlotte Flair versus Asuka match for the Women's SmackDown Championship. Weird finish. Don't think it was anything any of us were expecting.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Well, this kind of like leads to later on, which I'll get to when we get to the last 3 matches of the card. But yeah, I was not expecting Asuka to lose. I seriously thought that they were gonna go all the way and just give Asuka the title. But for some reason, Creative had the decision to allow Charlotte to beat her on the ground. Clean. Yeah, with submission.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I guess they just got it for the shock value, because a lot of people were shocked, myself included.
The actual finish I was expecting was Carmella to run out, attempt to cash in. Charlotte kicks it away. Charlotte kicks it away again, but she manages to distract the ref, and then Charlotte beams Asuka with the briefcase and pins her dirty, and then goes heel. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, and even the ending at the match. Now, we all thought that Asuka said something completely different when she got the mic.
Yeah.
No. You two thought that.
Yeah, no. Because she yelled, "Shut it!" And me and Turbo honestly thought she said "shut up" to the crowd, and we were like, "Wait, Asuka's standing here?"
Yeah,
but no,
that will be the weirdest thing of the night. But yeah, it's like she just shout out, Charlotte is ready for Asuka, or was. I think the term meaning was ready for Asuka.
Yes,
and but nevertheless. She was very commendable. That I guess she was also kind of like relieved that she's now no longer undefeated and whatnot, because that gives her more.
She's got a little bit more creative freedom, I guess, in that.
Yeah. So, but in general, the match itself was good. There was really good kind of like reversals from Asuka herself, particularly that of one of Charlotte's moonsaults, I believe, and Asuka got hold of her and put her into an armbar or some arm lock submission. But overall, it was a decent match. Just the finish was just very weird. And no cash in from Carmella. Like even though she got eliminated first in the women's battle royal, she never came back after that.
Yeah, her being eliminated first is pretty much a she's coming back later.
But no,
and she
didn't come back.
Yeah.
Weird.
And still boring me to death. Every single week. I don't know.
Nothing to add then, I suppose, Kev.
No, but apart from Charlotte really needed to turn heel.
Yeah.
For Charlotte's sake, she really needed to turn heel.
And
especially that engine.
One bad WWE creative choice to another one, which Mr. Kevin Eva pulled out of his ass as a good prediction. We go to the Fatal 4-Way United States Championship match of Mr. Boring Randy Orton, who was not even in the match for 90% of it, the glorious Bobby Roode, the Rusevious Day of Rusev, and Jinder Mahal!
Sergeant Jinder's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
No, I can't roll my R's, unfortunately, John.
Maharaja.
There's a car going past my window, guys. No one's really rolling their R's. I don't know about this match. I honestly don't. Everybody thought the belt was going to go to Rusev. I'm surprised it bloody didn't. The man is over as...
That was what you get for putting your faith in somebody that McManagement has decided is not going to be the one you will cheer for. You will get him in and he will eat the pin, and that is what he was there for.
No, I put my faith in a face-ish Rusev who would have the United States title and not be a racist dickhead over it. That was my problem. But instead, no. We have
yes,
the
but
United
you forgot
States
Vince McMahon's running the company. So, and the needs of the board members outweigh the needs of the audience.
The general public.
So that's why I went for Rusev. Not Rusev. I went for Jinder. Over Rusev. And unfortunately, and I'm not happy that it did happen, but that's what happened. Jinder won in a match which I am reliably informed happened.
It did happen.
It happened. I can't remember any of it for the life of me.
There wasn't a lot in the match that did happen. It was, it happened though.
Yeah, I was the same. I kind of like forgot most of this match, and it was a relatively short match for a Fatal 4-Way. So, yeah. Fairly forgettable.
The thing that concerned me immediately was they did in a time when you can do special things for special introductions. Nothing was done for Roode, and it's like it's Mania, and you've got the glorious thing, and you're not going to do anything for it. I'm immediately concerned. And Randy Orton came out like it was an episode of Raw. Because complacency is in his veins! Good, like I say, we had Sergeant Pepper, who ended up winning. It was the other one in it, I forget. Rusev came out again. There was a lot of build up that Rusev might come out again, the tank or something, or do something special, and it was just whatever. Oh, one thing that did happen was with Aiden English.
Oh yeah,
who shaved his hair between the pre-show and his appearance on the main show, in a bizarre point of view, and is now officially looking like Paul Ellering's love child as a result. With the shades on, the Legion of Rue. That's what he can lead. But I mean, I'm certain at some point during the match that Randy Orton RKO'd a lot of fools.
Yes, he did.
I'm guessing that
I
happened.
do recall that.
And at some point there was a DDT that was glorious.
Yes.
And Rusev Day was cheered a lot. And then Rusev was pinned. And that's all I can really gather from the match. It's one of those matches that just sort of happens. And but you've watched it. And it's ended, and suddenly you realise what actually happened during this from the start to the finish. How did I get here? Time has just skipped out of its own boredom. That's a shame because those performances are better.
Yeah, well,
Indeed. A bit of a throwaway match, really, but I suppose it was meant to act more as a piss break match after, a 2-hour pre-show and the 2 half-hour matches into Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the longest, most drawn-out mixed match match I have ever seen.
I think the most startling thing is that I think the best wrestler in the ring was actually Stephanie McMahon in that match.
Oh yeah,
By a distance.
Yeah, she actually held her own a lot more competently that we would thought she would be.
The storyline throughout was trying to lock in the armbar submission, which did actually have a knock-on effect to the Oscar Charlotte match because Oscar has been using the armbar finish submission, and guess what? She wasn't really able to use that much anymore. So we had the Connecticut Badass come out first of all. With the motorcycle club, thus putting an end to anybody's thoughts that American Badass Taker was coming back because, hey, oh, look at all these motorcycles from somebody else. It's like, yeah, great. But at least Steph got to ride her own one this time, as opposed to sort of being on the back.
Yeah, tailgating on the back of. Yeah.
But we had Ronda came out to a big pop, and I think that the match did prove anything. It was that Ronda Rousey can be box office for WWE.
Yeah, that is evident by the amount of views the clip for her match has gotten on the WWE YouTube channel. So
slightly helped by the fact that it's the featured video and deliberately so. But so it's the channel video at the minute for him. I don't think it's going to change for a while, actually. I rather suspect they're actually going to keep that up there regardless of what happens on Raw, unless Rousey's on there. Because it's the thing that's getting them the most publicity at the moment, obviously mainstream.
Yeah.
I raised this thing on Twitter, and I want to get your guys' opinion while we're talking about it.
Go ahead.
I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of Ronda's fucking entrance music. It's a shit cover, and I'm sick of hearing it because it's on for the longest time, every single time. And every time it's like the beginning or end of a segment, it's like, it's like, oh my god, I'm just so tired.
So you're not happy about it in general, Pete? Because
I think
the problem is Ronda doesn't give a damn about her song's reputation, Pete.
I mean, I'm glad she's there. She's clearly a box office attraction, but I foresee the fact that she's not going to be in weekly matches, and she's going to be the female Brock Lesnar and turn up when the fuck she wants.
Oh dear.
It's a good possibility of that. But yeah, for her kind of like persona and whatnot, the song doesn't match her kind of like persona of being this ultimate fighter. So
you literally gave her an oversized jacket for her first appearance at the Royal Rumble, and then gave her a tailored one for Raw appearances. And then you gave her the same oversized shitty jacket for WrestleMania again.
Isn't that jacket?
Hold on.
Roddy's jacket.
That's Roddy's jacket.
That's the reason she wears it.
Yeah, but okay, brilliant. It's still oversized and looks dumb as fuck.
It's
doesn't.
more
You can
about
still, but
honouring...
the whole look, the Titantron, the whole look, that is also for the man. All right, you can still wear a leather jacket regardless. It's tailored and looks better.
I see your point there in terms of presentation. Again, I think it's more about like honouring one of the reasons why she's doing it,
or honouring the reason why she is called Ronda Rousey, rather than just Ronda Rousey.
I don't know. There's in terms of because the big question was like, okay, how does she wrestle? Really, going into this,
I guarantee she was training more on how to bump and make the bumps look good because the bump she took looked decent.
Okay, so things we kind of agreed on, people after and during this. Okay, she really needs help to learn how to protect herself. There was a moment in the match where Steph pushes her into the post, and her way of coping with that, as opposed to just getting your hand up and going like anyone does, is to literally headbutt the post. Now, methinks that's not going to work well for her if she continues doing that. She desperately needs some knee pads.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
because I know again that's playing into the image as well from UFC
wasn't
stuff.
she wearing knee pads? Wasn't she wearing knee pads? In most of the UFC videos
no, she wasn't. But yeah, and because again, it's one of those things that wrestlers get knocked up and bashed up all the time in terms of obviously being in the ring because it's a dangerous and very physical job, but her knees were like cut to hell, one of them, and she needs to do that to just protect herself. And if she's going to be doing the grind as everyone else is, which is, despite what they say, I agree with Pete. I think it's very doubtful. She needs to have something in there to just protect herself. Mm-hmm. But there was some good stuff. Steph did a DDT on her that looked like it killed her.
Yeah.
That looked really good. But the story was very good with the continuous, okay, well, I'm going to rip your arm off, and Steph having been smart and learned to counter the armbar and protect herself from the armbar.
I like that. That was the best part of the match, is Steph countering the armbar and making it look as if it was a reliable, decent way.
Also, she almost got a pin off of that as well the first time she did it, and that looked really, really good.
My only problem is that because this is going to be a big thing of Ronda, she's going to be continuously going for the armbar, is that we're going to see a lot of that counter in a specific situation. A lot of it. And it's going to be very repetitive.
Maybe they'll do a thing where she'll just... Because the whole thing was the arm in the run-up. It's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to rip your leg off, and then it'll just be a leg thing. Who's got the ankle lock at the minute?
Kurt. Look.
Well, Kurt, but apart from anyone else using the ankle lock, use the ankle lock for
Jason Jordan, technically. Cesaro's used it, I think.
Not anymore, Cesaro. What's that? She wants to use uppercuts. Cesaro.
No, European uppercuts. I can't think of anyone in particularly on the main roster. I think there might be someone on NXT, but no.
I could see her maybe acquiring that or acquiring other, or just being like female Daniel Bryan of old.
Well, if she wants to be more like Roddy Piper, she should take the sleeper as her finisher.
Which again they sort of teased with Steph doing it on her at one point. It was
yeah.
Okay. The As we were saying though, bizarrely, you had the situation where Stephanie was appearing to be the best wrestler there, because frankly, Trips wasn't very good.
Nope.
I mean, it felt like they just stumbled around and were there to just. We all knew that we were going to see a Triple H and Angle thing. Or we all knew that we were going to see that to try and keep Steph out of the ring. That was clearly how they were going to try and build the story. The problem is that we know Trips and Angle are very resilient. We've seen a lot of stuff, and them just getting older when they're still in like peak physical condition, especially Hunter for the most part. You know, he's not gonna do his trademark flip over the top rope and fall into the barricade and then be out for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to see that.
No.
But I think what we saw was, I think it's the first time I've really seen Trips looking old.
I actually saw an entertaining thing. I think it was Jim Sterling actually retweeted that he didn't know Kratos had gone to.
Yeah, there was somebody said that he did look like Kratos with the beard. I think what we also saw on the other side with Angle is an Angle who is still wrestling, but who is now showing the wear and tear of the decade in TNA, pretty much destroying himself every night.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, caught up with him because Angle looked slow and lethargic. And
yeah, he was definitely a lot slower since his
shadow
other two appearances in TLC and Survivor Series. So
he's long past his prime in that sense, but looks like he was a shadow of what he was even in TNA, which is not good. So yeah, well done, Steph. You kind of carried the match.
MVP
between multiple world champions and perhaps the most celebrated female UFC fighter of all time. The most valuable player of that match was a 40-year-old executive.
I'll definitely say that Triple H was able to sell Ronda's assaults quite well.
The Ronda Triple H thing was the most exciting part of that match, outside of Stephanie dodging the armbar.
Yeah. I'll definitely commend that as being the match highlight there.
Yeah, even though Kev, I think, did make a mention in the Discord chat while the match was on that somewhere does it already.
Chikara, it's like, oh, we're gonna do this thing about men and women are equal and can fight, and it's like, well, Chikara's been doing that for years because we've had Princess Kimberly as the grand champion over there for a very long time and just dominant over everybody. So it's not.
But it's like it's not something that WWE has ever really done.
No.
Not since the days of China.
Not since. Yes, very much so. They might. In fact, that would be interesting actually to see how parallel.
I did see quite a few people. Did see quite a few people saying that Rousey could be the next China in the sort of like state of what they could do with her, which could be interesting.
I could see Rousey winning the IC strap.
See it. Nah, she'll go to 205 Live and buff it up a little bit.
Drake Maverick welcomes proceeds to be choked out.
Then they'll bring in the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships and we'll see Rousey.
And she'll win them with a child.
Yep, you beat me to it. But yeah, that match went on really long, but it was alright to a match which was really disappointing in the Triple Threat SmackDown Tag Team Champions of the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers.
Let it not be said that the hard work of a year will not be rewarded. Oh wait, sorry, I've read my notes here wrong. The hard work of a year will not be rewarded. is
disappointingly short.
Disappointingly short.
It honestly feels like a match that would be a throwaway rematch on a house show. Or like a smaller pay-per-view, not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I do not think the Bludgeon Brothers needed a WrestleMania day.
Well, that's the thing. You see, during my predictions and whatnot, I said that I wanted them to win because they needed a win. And now seeing that, obviously, yeah, I mean, it only just proves my point that they were, I did have that gut feeling that they were going to win. But of course, I was listening to you and the common sense that you were saying, Pete. But no, apparently common sense did not work for this, angle here. And we get done in. But because who cares about the Usos and their proclamation that this is their first time on the main card of WrestleMania. And,
a decade of hard work to get to this point.
Only to just lose their titles in a non-exciting fashion. It's
who cares that the New Day are still one of the biggest acts that they've got?
Yeah, with their
gas leak. Yes, there's
shitey entrance. Did you like that entrance, Pete? Did you like it? Do you like it? Do you like pancakes? Do you like them? Do you like the fluffy warm?
Let's not talk about the entirety of New Day's intro. Let's just pretend it never happened and let's never speak of it again.
Let's not talk about how they took away the shit text and the shit emojis and everything else and instead put shit augmented reality. Fuck me, WWE. The International at Dota did fucking AR better on their cameras.
It did, very much so. And like I say, I need to write something about it soon.
And I'll tell you this much, guys. We finally have something worse than Chester McCheesington. Yeah.
A whole army of them.
Yeah.
Peter McPancake Mans.
Although I did like the Power Rangers reference, that was pretty cool.
Oh yes, he summoned them via use of the Dragon Sword call.
That was pretty dope. But yes, disappointingly short match. This really should have been a ladder match. Yeah. I'm sure someone will do the math, but this is the first WrestleMania without a ladder match in how long?
Ooh.
Probably
6 years at least, I think. There might have been like an odd year out.
Yeah,
in
maybe.
the last 10, but it is very rare.
But the ladder matches, especially in the last 2-3 years, have been one of the highlight matches of WrestleMania. So.
Yeah.
All three of those teams could have done some pretty special stuff with the ladder match format.
I would like to just skip past this match because it was so short, and I don't want to give it any more time than it deserves.
Oh no, there was one thing we kind of agreed on: the skull mask on Harper.
He was dressed as Reaper from Overwatch.
Keep that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Keep that. He looks badass in that.
But from one short, disappointing match into one short murder of John Cena versus The Undertaker.
Yes. Exactly.
Now, earlier in the night, we had John, thanks for being here, because you just give the internet such great material to work with.
So many memes.
Because earlier in the night, obviously he was at front row, he had a ticket, he was part of the crowds, watching the show with over-exaggerated reactions, and after the SmackDown Women's Titles match, a referee came to John's seat and says, "John, he's here. He's in the back."
Running in the 90s.
moving, rolling around at this place. But,
anything you want to put in there. It was
anything you
want
to put in there.
It all worked.
He just burned it to the back.
The initial team. I want to see that. I want to see somebody just do that cut and just be like, the minute he's like, deja vu. And then he's like,
Aye. But no, he came back out in his gear, ironically enough. And what was it? Well, we could just talk about the entire thing right here. He came in, went into the ring, and then another ref came in and said, "Oh,
he's not
happy now." It's like, oh, great. What's the point then? You just announced it was like the next match is 1-for-1 fall. Then the lights go out. Elias comes out.
Also,
he starts.
Yes.
See, he starts doing his shtick, and Cena's like, "F this," beats up Elias, and then he walks off in the back, and then the spookiness happened. It's like Undertaker's gear is in the ring after lights go out and they come back on. Lightning strikes it. Darkness. Lights in the ring come back. The gear's gone. And then... Dong.
There's only one thing more lengthy than Undertaker's walk to the ring, and that's Undertaker deciding if he's going to walk to the ring.
Again, another great comment was this is the longest intro ever.
Was fully expecting that when the gear disappeared, they'd do a light, then the lights would go down, then we'd see the lightning, and then Taker would be in the ring.
Yeah, that would have been much better. But I guess he wouldn't. He's he's not as that limber. I
like the idea that it reversed last year's and that he rose up from the stage and.
Still think it would have been better with a Kid Rock concert and him driving down to
they couldn't do it
though.
But they couldn't do it though because he had a prior commitment to be on a cruise thing. So he was never ever going to be performing because he had to be there the night of the show.
The point. Still would have been better.
But it was good because it built up. The fact that John Cena basically got, after dealing with a lot, basically got played off with his music hitting and him looking like, what? Oh, I done that. Oh, fine, thanks.
When you remember all the bad things you've said about someone and then they turn up.
Yeah, and that was the music then stopping as he was halfway up the ramp. So it was just like it's just getting worse and worse and worse for him because it's like he's been played off and then it stopped. But no, of course it was Undertaker's. And
it was me, Cena. I was here all along.
The very permanently plastered look of oh shit on Cena's face during the entirety of it was just like, yes.
Yeah, he was definitely practicing his acting during this match for overreaction. For any new comedies that he's planning in the future.
I mean, the best thing that we got off of that was what was it? The 5-knuckle shuffle into the
the sit up.
Over. That was fun. Yeah. That was the best thing ever because it was like a comedy banana peel fall over. That's
it really was it was a scared him out of his skin job. But it was the case of be careful what you wish for. Mm-hmm. It was what it needed to be, I think, in this instance. The idea that John Cena was squashed in 5 minutes is hilarious. But it's like, hey, funnily enough, if you piss off the Undertaker, he's gonna beat the living shit out of you.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Undertaker, you and me, WrestleMania next year, yeah?
Make sure to show up then, Pete.
Yeah, make sure you show up, Pete.
If I turn up to WrestleMania, I'm in the middle, then sure.
Heat will rise up from the smoke. And then realise you're there somewhere.
No. You'll fly in on a phoenix.
Like a phoenix to the flames.
He's going to do the Shawn Michaels zip line with a plush phoenix between his legs. And that's going to be it.
That's it.
Oh, look at that! What is that?
From the squash match to... I don't know what to call it. McMahon and Bryan versus Zayn and Owens. I'm glad I called this, but what the fuck was Daniel Bryan's entrance? What the fuck was that video about?
Apparently, what was it? Vanguard won.
Yeah, Vanguard. He stole Vanguard 1.
It was said on, Woken Hardy's Twitter. He said that. I don't have the quote here. But he basically said that Vanguard 1 lent one of his drones to another organization, another operating system, I think, and it was delightful and whatnot. I don't know, but it was kind of weird. It's like I'm guessing that was the kind of like it was almost like trying to be like. You remember Triple H's entrance for WrestleMania 31, where it was like Terminator-esque?
Yeah.
Kind of like... I don't know why they wanted to incorporate that for Daniel Bryan's kind of like... starting entrance
they
and
were
then
quite,
going to his traditional entrance.
It was more riffing on the cultural impact that Daniel Bryan has had.
That was the case.
And obviously the catchphrase and something and how it's spread and the yes movement is everywhere and look, small children. And one day their hopes and dreams can be that they become a champion and wrestle at WrestleMania. But, don't try this at home, kids. And we won't send a bad message out about that at all in a match. It was an odd situation to start with. It was, again, one of those weird creative decisions.
It was bonkers. It was bonkers.
But I liked the match. I loved Daniel Bryan. He was on top form.
I don't think it was very fair for Shane McMahon to still be in intense pain to be doing a match of that caliber. B, a man who is very in tune with how everybody feels about him and how he's felt over his situation not being able to be wrestled, to be specifically in part of the storyline of that match to be out of commission to a point where they need to try and get him on a stretcher. That is not very fair on fans and everybody else. To try and
the start of I'll give you that much, Pete. The start of the match was very too reminiscent of what happened to Daniel Bryan back in WrestleMania 30, where he was taken out for a portion of the match. And what happened at WrestleMania 30, he was double teamed 10 minutes into the match. This case, he was taken out at the beginning of the match, which was annoying. So
there was several moments also during the match where it was very much a case of prodding the fans' nerves with regard to his health and his well-being, which is different to he's going to lose the match. Deliberately poking the fan that maybe he's hurt again. Not very cool. There was a couple of moments, like I say, that we had obviously the stuff at the beginning for maybe he's not going to be able to compete. But he did the 2-footed drop kick off of the top, and he landed relatively flat. But then Bryan always lands relatively flat on those, and he stayed down, and he stayed down, and the crowd kind of hushed a bit. Because they deliberately left it so that it was, about 3 or 4 seconds longer than it should be. And it went very uncomfortable. And then he kept up.
Yeah.
But because it was the first real in-ring thump that he had, and he held his head, and it was part of wrestling is obviously with regard to the fans and the products in the ring is the suspension of disbelief, and we're here to be told a story about overcoming odds and what have you. But that's with a competition in the ring as opposed to a person's actual physical health. And it was very awkward in those bits. Outside of that, it's been like 3 years, or whatever it is, the man has not missed a beat.
No.
Amazing.
I imagine a big part of that is in part to being ready to dump the WWE contract and move somewhere else, and he didn't want to stick in a ring.
Essentially, yeah.
This weird sort of parallel with the twins, actually, because we've got Nikki, who's kind of like this vacuous entity. And then we've got Brie, who is this apparently Wonder Wife and ridiculously supportive to the point of, whatever. It is such a contrast between those two.
I guess that is the effect of twins sometimes. Is they may look alike, but their personalities are polar opposites.
Yeah. But it's just funny because that's the crowd's general viewpoint as well, is that Brie is now officially amazing and that Nikki is still a Bella, which is kind of strange, but. It was fine. They played into. I mean, it was some really good stuff. I mean, you said, Pete, actually, you forget how fast Daniel Bryan is in that ring.
Completely forgot how fast that boy moves. It's ridiculous how quick he is.
The cameras couldn't keep up at that point. Kevin Dunn was pressing all the switches.
Also, while we are talking about the fucking cameras, one complaint I do have for WrestleMania is all of the fucking camera shots in the universe. Like, a dedicated tag cam for how close those fingers were to touch, and there was one point where it just felt like we had someone on ADD just hitting fucking camera switches where it went to 3 different points. And it was in like the span of like 2 seconds. And I'm like, remember when it was just a hard cam and then one cam outside and then like 2 cams outside the ring? And like you literally had to stay with one cam for 90% of the thing so you wouldn't miss anything.
Back in the day. But yeah, I mean, I brought up the audio mix was freaking terrible, I thought.
Audio was garbage all night.
It was like that all night, yeah.
Some poor bugger's going to have a hell of a job actually putting it out properly when they're going to do the DVD and the Blu-ray
DVD release stuff.
Incidentally, if you would like to see a really, really good pay-per-view, the WrestleMania DVD is apparently going to have NXT TakeOver on it. So...
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently. Apparently. It was in the news.
Why not just release NXT TakeOver
it's gonna be
on a separate DVD?
Like WrestleMania weekend as a whole thing, and it's going to have NXT TakeOver in it.
I think it's a WrestleMania weekend package.
And it's like... As bonus features go, a pay-per-view that is arguably a lot better is...
Oh, it was 10 times better.
Opinion. So what you're actually getting is you're buying a DVD for NXT TakeOver, and it has the bonus of having WrestleMania 34 on it. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Glad you could see it like that, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Predictable?
Yes.
I think so. I think so. I mean, even though one man had...
I was happy with that result, and I didn't want necessarily Owens and Zayn to win, as I said initially. But, Yeah, it puts it as you succinctly pointed out in that preview video, that predictions video, Pete. It's the best way of putting a cap on all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And now Brian can go after the Intercontinental title.
Literally, I think it was the best way to end the storyline that's been going on for 9 to 12 months. It was very, very good. Yeah, on to a match which... we already had one murder on the evening, and then we had another one when Nia Jax decided to very quickly throw Mickie James around like a ragdoll and murder the bitch, and then decided to swiftly murder Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
I
told you.
Felt odd, this one. The crowd were out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it... I don't know, all the reactions from the crowd felt wrong, and as a result, the atmosphere of the match, I think, suffered. And... it was what it needed to be. But there was a number of moments in that, like... Nia pretty much losing it emotionally and screaming at that Alexa,
that screaming thing was bonkers.
Oh yeah,
it reminded me of something out of a really like scary movie type kind of deal where someone screams at the villain and the villain screams back.
Oh, that lovely comic moment at the beginning. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that was very Home Alone-ish, essentially. It's like, hey there, buddy. Ah!
Hiya,
and that actually got a good. That got a nice chuckle from the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd loved that.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, the crowd was not in for it. I guess they were just exhausted after the tag match beforehand, because this is now us going into our 4 or. Yeah, for the weekend.
The 49th hour of the...
No, it's like... I think it was like hour 4 into the main card. I
mean, an easiest way to check would be to look at the last-minute continue tweet feed, because I was abusing my power last night.
All right.
Wow. I didn't notice.
But yeah, well, this was the 4th last match, okay, and we have 3 other matches beforehand. So and that was like within the next like hour and a half, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that time, I think a lot of people were getting exhausted, especially the crowd, because I knew that I had that feeling that Nia Jax was gonna get her win here, and it was well deserved. Well worth coming, of course, because she's been needing to get this title win for a while, but of course at the expense of Alexa Bliss being thrown around like a ragdoll, like you said, Pete.
Here's the thing: I've got no problem with Nia Jax having the belt. No problem. No. My biggest problem is the way they've done it in the storyline.
Yes, it is. It's very cheap. I'll definitely say that much, because this whole be a star, anti-bullying, fat shaming kind of like malarkey. It's very, very lowbrow, like storytelling.
It gets even more awkward when you realise that the person that was defending Alexa Bliss was Mickie James, who had all this happen to her via management when she on her first spell of the company.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mickie James was probably debating about that as well in the back, and just thinking, this is not right.
Actually, it would have been very brave of them if they'd actually brought it up. If they've actually acknowledged that, that would have been super brave of them.
Yeah,
and done something about that. But there was this moment that was supposed to be like the real breakup moment where Nia, not the scream to begin with, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
But when she just got emotionally, snaps in the match and screams like, "You won't talk to me like this anymore." It was supposed to be like the big moment.
Yeah.
And it kind of didn't happen. There wasn't the reaction to it at all.
No.
And it was after that she just proceeded to, dismember Alexa Bliss in the ring.
Or literally destroy her. Of course, the notable spot of the night was that of the Samoan drop from the second rope.
Samoan throw from the second rope. Boy.
So yeah, that a fitting end, really. Yes, to that match. But yeah, overall, though, yeah, the match as a whole was a bit, no one was behind it, truly, and especially the angle itself was just not in the right way. But I still will give Nia Jax her credit that this is something that she's been needing for a long time, and thank God that she has gotten this win and the title.
Final thoughts on that, Pete?
I've said my piece. She deserved the belt. I just wish they'd done the story better.
As I said, it might have been better for the story and for Nia if the prediction I said had actually come true and her winning the belt on Raw, because I think she would have got a better reaction. It might have even meant more, strangely.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out tonight.
Indeed.
What's the best they hot shot it back to Alexa?
I'm fully expecting it. Anyway, AJ Styles versus Nakamura. Why the fuck was this not the main event? It was a Royal Rumble winner. Why the absolute fuck was this not the main event?
Okay. You say Royal Rumble winner. I'm going to point this out right now. You had 2 Royal Rumble winners this year. Neither of them won their WrestleMania matches. And that is unacceptable.
First time that's happened since apparently WrestleMania 27. I saw.
What? Where
if it's wrong, it's the person.
WrestleMania 2000 is one WrestleMania specifically where I remember that the winner of the Royal Rumble didn't win the main event. But this was a special time where you previously crowned 2 Royal Rumble winners, and neither one of them won their respected match at WrestleMania. And I could have accepted one, and that one at the start of the night was Asuka. She didn't win her match. I was fully expecting Nakamura to win his match at least.
I didn't think they'd pull the trigger. I was expecting them to pull the trigger for Asuka, but not Nakamura.
But still, I am just asking why. And
I'll be honest. I think it's because Nakamura's mic technique's not up to scratch. And
no. That's not a factor.
I think you'll find it is because there are many.
They also had a special feature for him leading up to WrestleMania. They call it WWE Chronicle or Chronicles or whatever. And he was being followed for that period between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, leading up to his match to the night, which would have been a great clear, indicator that he was possibly going to win.
My counter to that is that the fact they did the WWE 365 on AJ Styles.
Of AJ Styles.
I also want to remind you that they specifically took the belt off Becky because Kevin Dunn couldn't understand what she was saying on the mic, and that was a big part of what he'd said to Vince about it. And I imagine that he would have had something to say to Vince regarding not being.
And that's just petty.
Yes,
that is
it is.
petty.
I agree.
I look at it this way. in what we have. We had a dream match. It felt a bit odd to me.
Wasn't
in terms of pacing. It felt kind of odd.
The match felt dead in a lot of places.
It did feel like it meant something though, which is important. But what we have as a result of AJ winning is it is not a singular. It is the first chapter in a multi-part story.
Yes. Yeah.
It plays into the idea that technically they're now 1-1 because Nakamura won the New Japan one. It also plays into the whole thing of AJ Styles just never trust anybody you had any business with in New Japan because they will always betray you, apparently.
I think the biggest revelation is something that you pointed out during the video package, wasn't it, Kev?
Which one was that? Yes, they actually showed TNA.
Yeah.
We actually had snippets of TNA. You can tell it was TNA because AJ was fighting. AJ was fighting Bully Ray.
Oh yeah.
It's very specific ways. It had to be TNA.
Yeah, but what that means, who knows? That's yeah. But overall, the match was okay, but it didn't engross the crowd, and it didn't engross anybody that was watching. So I think the biggest problem of billing this as a dream match is that Nakamura's come in full of piss and vinegar, and we've seen more of AJ for the grand part of over a year since essentially 2017's been his year.
Which is impressive because 2016 was his year.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's more of like it's been his career.
Yeah.
You know, his career as a whole has been so impressive.
But it's been weird because we know anyone who's watches wrestling outside of WWE will know Shinsuke more, will know about their feud, and that's why they were billing it as a dream match, which is why they've alluded to Japan so much because of everything that's happened there. Mm-hmm. But your casual WWE viewer isn't going to care, and I think that's why nobody really bought into it.
I did like the fact that the New Japan finisher, the New Japan era finisher, pre-WWE finisher, i.e. the Styles Clash, was the thing that ended it.
Yeah,
I quite like that actually. So it wasn't Phenomenal Forearm that was the thing that actually won it, and it was a quick move into a quick Styles Clash. It wasn't one of these ones that took a while to set up. It was quick and snappy, and as a result, he got the pin. I mean, maybe this is. I mean, I think we. I don't know what John thinks about this, but there was something missing from WWE Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, there was very lack of aggression from Nakamura.
Yeah.
He wasn't king of strong style here,
and this heel turn might very well be the thing that actually gets us, hopefully, to that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Jesus, can you imagine?
Because I would love to see Nakamura being absolute, full-on, strong style. In a rematch with AJ Styles, because that's what they brought to the table in that New Japan match.
Yes,
was the strikes that you had from Nakamura to AJ Styles in that New Japan match was much better than anything really that Nakamura has brought to the main roster at all. Yeah, he brought it to NXT at times, but not in the same. But not on his main roster.
The Zayn fight for a start.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
So,
but again, he does when it's those opponents who have travelled the similar path and expect it and would be disappointed in Nakamura if he did not. Mm-hmm. But maybe this whole thing and getting the attitude back will actually be really benefit Shinsuke in the long run. I'm interested to see if he tries to convince Asuka, because there was a lot of obviously natural result.
If Oscar is on SmackDown now, remember that
who knows? Maybe she's a free agent and can book her own matches now.
I don't think so.
Oscar versus The Undertaker for WrestleMania 35.
Sure. To be the dead man, you
have to beat the dead man.
Dead man
is ready for
Oscar.
I think we'll be seeing more of an Asuka-Nia rivalry more than anything else. I think Asuka's going to be back on Raw. I think she would have been on SmackDown if she'd won the belt, but because she hasn't.
Who knows?
But yeah, general thoughts on the match?
It was okay. It was just not to the caliber that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment of the match. It seems to be
I think if they'd given it another 10 minutes, if they'd given it 10 minutes but actually allowed to tell... I don't think they were allowed to tell the story they wanted to. It felt very truncated.
Yeah.
And
of course, this match should have been main event.
Yes, without question.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's something called Brock Lesnar.
But here's the thing. I mean, and we'll get to this when we talk about the disappointment of the actual main event. But wouldn't you have been disappointed if this was the main event? If that match went as it was, and you'd be just as disappointed for that end of the show?
I wouldn't have been as disappointed as what the actual main event was for that night. Because I'll tell you, I'll get to how it was with the actual main event when we get to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, placing on the card has an effect on the audience, and I think that in itself would have, if the audience had known this is the last one, it would have had a different audience atmosphere, and that might have changed even our opinion on what we saw.
Yeah. Okay, so we go from that match into a match where they have crowned the youngest WWE champion in history.
Nepotism.
Mm-hmm.
Nepotism strikes its ugly head again.
So it was The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro versus Braun, and a mystery opponent. Now each of us pulled a name out of our asses.
And how pointless was that? Apparently.
Yeah.
So the minute Braun started going, he's going to look. I immediately called it was going to be a plant. And everybody was just like out of their chair going, what? They've got a kid. And then it turns out the information today has been, Mr. Kevin.
It's the son of John Cone, referee.
It was Plant. Shocking. I'm absolutely shocked.
What's more shocking is that he went through the technical area where the NXT people were, and he passed No Way. He was standing in front of No Way Jose, standing next to Johnny fucking Moss at one point. Everyone was going nuts about it. It's like, oh my god, just pick one of those guys, please.
I'm surprised that Braun didn't accidentally knock over a granny, and in his way of finding a thing. Because that way we could just say, she's a stunt granny.
I mean, obviously the whole idea of this is that Braun didn't need a partner, so he just picked somebody from the audience. Now, whether we see Small Child in future Raws or everything else, there's clearly going to be The Bar going to Kurt Angle and claiming shenanigans. Who knows? We might see a storyline where it'll be Braun has to find a proper partner. Who knows? It was a funny match. It definitely kept everybody in their seats. I did enjoy random members of the crowd going around with their beer with Braun and just saying, "Just pick me, take me," and I'll be like, "Yes, okay."
Why have we got Braun Strowman as this family-friendly monster? I don't. Just like...
I guess it's just him, being given the ability to just put some personality into his character.
The monster among Mardi Gras.
He wants to be entertaining.
Yes,
Braun Kishi coming soon.
He's doing a very good job because he clearly he picked that fan for The Rock. Clearly he picked that fan for the people. Clearly he picked it for you.
No, he didn't pick it for me.
He certainly did.
Clearly didn't pick it for me because after this match, I was out of the running for my predictions. Completely out of it.
Yes. Well, who knows what's going to happen now?
John, you sound awfully bitter. You really do.
Yes. I have my bottle of vinegar right here that I'm drinking right now.
It's a good thing we didn't put punishments on losers, really, isn't it?
I would have granted. I would have easily taken a punishment. I would have easily taken made me eat wasabi or something like that. I don't know.
As other people doing that.
From one disappointment to another, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. John was like, got a nice little brand to have. So I'm going to let John just take the mic, and I'm going to take my headset off and let him go nuts.
I'm just going to up
here we go. I have fucking hated this match. Simple as. Okay. We were obviously wanting to know that this was going to be a very decisive match. I just didn't think that it was going to be this stupidly decisive of a match. Because having Roman Reigns needing to be defeated with 6 fucking F5s
and a table
and the floor
is ridiculous. 3 should have been the maximum to put him down. It was 3 that took down the Undertaker. Why did Roman need double that?
Because Roman forgot the easiest thing to take out Lesnar is to spear and then jackhammer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Incidentally, coming for your title, Braun and Nicholas, it's going to be Goldberg and Goldberg's son.
Goldberg and Gilbert. Goldberg and Gilbert.
No, his actual son.
No.
That's a team that Paul Heyman apparently could get behind. So
yeah, I just didn't like this match at all. It was boring as all fuck. It was tedious.
I don't think it was boring at all, fuck, but it did feel like a massive retread.
When it got to 10 minutes, I was bored the fuck.
I mean,
how long this was going. It was going on and on and on. It was just being a drove of just like slow, monotonous, boring ass.
It felt like an entire retread of WrestleMania 30.
Yeah,
not 30. Sorry,
31.
31.
Yeah.
Point for point, it just felt like an entire retread.
Yeah. The only notable thing was what was it? Roman's Crimson Mask. It's like
that just felt like they were
were desperate. They were desperate to try to get some emotion for this, to try to get Roman over in another way.
I think they knew how well the Randy Orton thing was taken by wrestlers and the press and the people who watched the light, that they thought that they could pull it off again and tried to get Roman. And I think it was a decision based on the night, because Roman went... The WWE makes really fucking stupid decisions, because they went, Roman's finally got traction. What can we do? Oh yeah! Next day, let's announce that Daniel Bryan's been cleared to wrestle. That's fine. You know, it won't do anything to take anything off Roman Reigns at all. Roman Reigns will never be over while he's your boy. Regardless of what project you need to do. You want to get Roman Reigns over? You should have fucking done it when it was him versus Triple H and pushed him as a full-fledged heel and had him go mental. That's how you should have got Roman Reigns over, because then he would have done the same thing that The Rock did. Went heel, got over, went face, is good with the fans.
It's almost like Roman Reigns should probably be turned heel now and be sent after Daniel Bryan as the ultimate culmination of all of this.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all your fault. You're representing the people. The people don't accept me, or what have you. But no, it's Roman Reigns being Roman Reigns, and it was... If it wasn't a punch, it was a suplex, and if it wasn't a suplex, it was an F5, and if it wasn't an F5, it was a spear, and if it wasn't a spear, it was a punch, and that was the entirety of the match. Roman almost got killed on two suplexes on the outside. The first one, he was basically suplexed onto his head on the concrete because Brock didn't suplex him properly. And the second one was supposed to be a suplex, and it ended up with Roman just basically being very badly catapult, eyes first, into the edge of the table, which looked horrendous. And he was very lucky not to be seriously injured. The entire atmosphere was, within 5 minutes, the audience had checked out. Officially. They were done with this.
While we couldn't see it, it definitely felt like there was a beach ball going on.
There was multiple beach balls.
The hard cam showed the crowd, and they were looking right past the ring to the other side of the match.
Right, and then it was up above, and then all the camera shots were close in on the faces for a lot of it, whilst it was being adjusted. We had CM Punk chants. We had boring chants. This is awful was very loud indeed, which I'm sure was absolute music to Dana White's ears. There was, it was all very. It was like, it was the whole point of what can these two do to stop each other? I don't know, anything at that point. Just end the thing.
Yeah.
End the thing. It was a serviceable WrestleMania up to this point.
I heard that after the match, Roman Reigns took longer to get up the ramp than it did for the Undertaker to get down the ramp.
That's funny. If so, it
was the case.
Oh, because there was also reports and rumours fly about a massive blow-up backstage afterwards from Lesnar, because Lesnar was pissed off with how the crowd were acting, and he was pissed off with the match, and apparently Brock went off script in that latter part with busting Roman open. To what length he went off script, we don't know.
I think it was a cut. I actually think it was a cutting rather than the elbow.
Oh, you mean blade?
Blading, sorry. I clearly think it was a blade. The difference between... it's very reminiscent. Like, the thing with Orton, it looked very reminiscent of how it was with Owens and Vince, and when Owens was done, because if you actually look at Vince before he cut open, he's actually got a small wound right there.
Yeah, he just had the liquid skin.
Exactly. And with Orton having the low cut, there is very small grazing there, and you can tell that there's like a very light thing. That's the thing. And with Reigns' hair, you can quite clearly just blade it, and you'll get fresh blood, a lot of it. In that sort of position.
Which is odd, because it flies in the face of WWE's previous stances, really. But Lesnar seems to have this thing where it's different.
Yeah, but it's the same with anything, especially in a concussion-heavy area. Having anything to do with the head in that sort of area is very dangerous. But you can tell that I think the amount of blood was definitely over the board, because there were a lot of people on board ready. That's more than I've seen for any sort of cutting or anything else.
It was
Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, it was Guerrero style. But the ending, the winner of the match definitely caught people unaware. Everybody was fully expecting Reigns to win. Lesnar obviously won it.
Yeah. This was supposed to be. This was supposed to be Roman's inauguration of he is the guy, he is our champion, he is our face of the company, and we were all saying that, and everyone was saying it, and they just swerved us that all hell with this whole crap.
He went from being the big dog to the big red dog, and it didn't work, basically.
Clifford, the big red
red dog.
God. But yeah, that was WrestleMania. As always, marks out of 10. We'll start with the loser of the predictions.
Oh, what you? No. Before we do that, actually, we should explain because we didn't explain why I've won.
Yes. So after the tag match, it actually ended at a draw between me and Kevin. Only by 1 point, mind. It was very close.
It was like 8-7, I think.
Yeah, so we were all at 7 points apiece.
We were all in the lead at one point during the evening. It was super close. We obviously didn't know which way it was going to go.
If we had different choices for different matches, like Kev with his choice for the women's,
you for the tag match. There was one that for each of us that could, if we'd have just was our sort of afterthought that if we'd have gone for it, we would have actually changed the whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, essentially, in the Discord chat that we had, I turned around to Kev and I went. Because at the time that they were showing the preview video, it was like 4:45. The WrestleMania was aiming... it was 25-5. And WrestleMania was obviously aiming to finish at 5. And I said, all right. So if we'll take a bet on whether this match lasts 20 minutes or more. And I gave Kev the option, because I gave Kev the option to choose whether it'll be shorter or whether it'll be longer. We did bell to bell. Ended up being about just shy of 16 minutes.
About 15.
Yeah,
50,
the match did overrun, but I just completely took off. If I'd said 15 minutes, because I completely forgot about them getting down to the ring.
That's why I said. But there was an interesting point because we said bell to bell, but they then rang the bell before they did the introductions.
Yeah,
and so we initially did the clock starting from there, and then they rang the bell again to start the match. So I mean, it wouldn't have worked out.
It wouldn't have made much difference.
But anyway, it was. I said under 20 minutes. Pete said,
so I took the other one just so we would have a clear winner.
I mean, it could have quite easily just been another. I mean,
it could have.
Would you rather have had Pete losing on the night, or would you rather have had another 5 minutes of F5s and punches and confusion?
It's a hard choice.
I know. What would you have had? Would you have had your moment of glory, or would you have suffered through another 5 minutes of that bull?
I would have taken Roman going through another table, to be fair.
Eyes first? Or...
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think we could have quite easily have had Reigns try and put Lesnar through the table while they were battling outside, and that would have
Did we have a pay-per-view where, like, WrestleMania where, like, 2 out of 3 tables survived?
Yep.
When was the last time that happened?
It's been a long time.
The commentators started and finished at the table. What the hell?
I know. But yes, that was WrestleMania. Quick go around the room. Mr. John, marks out of 10. Include the pre-show in your mark, please.
Okay. With the pre-show, which I thought was okay. But it was mainly everything was good. Everything was decent up until the last 3 matches. So I'm going to say I'm gonna give it a 6.
Mr. Kevin, winner of the LMKO predictions, champion holder, title holder.
The prediction slayer.
Indeed.
King of Kings.
Fuck off.
The King of Kings, the icon, the franchise. I'm gonna make it nice and short, nice and sweet. 7 hours, 7 points. I think a 7 is. It was a very 7 pay-per-view. in all respects.
Not the wrestler 7.
No.
No.
Although Matt Hardy did a reference to him the other day, funnily enough, in a response to Dustin Rhodes. But yeah,
it was a very easy to see where the direction of the pay-per-view was going for a lot of it. There were a lot of shock wins, which obviously changed the direction of where things are going to go. But the third act of WrestleMania was very, very out of it. I think it's because it just goes on too long. I think 5 hours is way too much for a pay-per-view. I don't care if it's WrestleMania or not. 5 hours is mental length.
Well, you're talking about just the main card there.
I am talking about just the main card.
In total 7 hours.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And bearing in mind Vince's difficulty in concentrating on American football when it goes over 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Kev here, and I'm going to give it a 7.
Yes.
Are you purposely just fucking with me now?
No, it's your choice. I could have quite easily given it a 6 myself.
If we were going to purposely fuck with you, you could have given it a 7 and we could have given it an 8.
8, yes. We could have done that. But I think I can understand entirely why you've given it a 6. It's definitely on that borderline between 6 and 7, certainly. It was not spectacular. It was not the granddaddy of them all. It was just the end of this road.
It was a decent WrestleMania.
We've had worse.
We absolutely have had worse.
That's like...
But it's not an X7. But it's nowhere near it. But I think a 7's a decent mark.
I was gonna say, this is not as good as 13. Not 13. 30. This 30 is way better than this.
30
no,
very
I seriously think 30 was better than this. And this is the same New Orleans kind of like scenario and whatnot. I seriously think that 30 was better than this.
I mean that's all well and good, but we're not rating 30.
Well, yeah, of course we're not rating 30.
I can understand. Yeah.
To the last time we were here at the Superdome. So.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good. I think it's understandable. Also, I think if it had been over 7, we'd have just been looking at each other, going, "What the heck were you watching?" But when we talk about the great WrestleManias of the last 10 years, we will not be talking about this one. And when we talk about
24, because 24 was garbage.
Oh God, yes. But when we talk about the worst WrestleManias of all time, we also won't be talking about this. It was a very middle of the road WrestleMania. On the road to WrestleMania, it stayed in the middle lane, and it did not deviate.
But yeah,
please buy tickets for WrestleMania 35, which is in.
Buy us tickets for WrestleMania 35.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, the one thing we never ever mentioned in both videos: what was up with that stage? What a mess that stage was! What an absolute shambles! It looked awful.
I've seen worse.
Modern memory.
Well, I mean, to be fair, WrestleMania 32 was very bland.
Bland it down.
Indeed. That has been the end of the last-minute kick-out review of WrestleMania 34. I hope you've enjoyed watching and or listening, depending on if you've been YouTube or iTunes. Thank you very much wherever you have been. As always, the socials can be found either underneath our names on the YouTube channel or on the iTunes episode listing. If you're listening on there, Feel free to follow us. It's all there. Thank you very much. I've been Pete Tuxgreed Nevercoat, joined as always by John Turbo Finley and one Mr. Kevin. The Kevin Eva LMKO predictions champion for now. He will lose the belt at Backlash or next year at WrestleMania.
Next year at WrestleMania. We're not doing
next year. Next year at WrestleMania. We're not doing this on a monthly basis. You can. We can have predictions on a monthly basis, but the title's not changing hands.
Is it because John doesn't want to be wrong 2 months in a row?
No, it's because it would cost us an absolute fortune to ferry this bloody belt across the UK backwards and forwards.
Well, then maybe you should just win again, Kev. How's that? Yeah.
You heard it here first. The booker has spoken.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm predicting that Kevin will win the predictions.
I'm being pushed. It's a rocket push to the stars, everybody.
Thank you very much for watching and/or listening, everybody. Until the next last-minute kick-out show, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.